Hello again, everyone, and a great pleasure to welcome you on board with myself, Scott, and I'm still teamed up with Manu. We headed out from camp at 6 o'clock last night, spent the night sleeping in the vehicle, and woke up to find these three cheetah on the move just after sunrise this morning. We had a wonderful morning spent with them. They didn't get up to too much until after drive. They did manage to catch a scrub hare. It all happened so quickly that we sadly didn't manage to share it live with you. But it's just a little snack, and they're certainly still hungry, so there's good prospects for this evening, and that is why we have decided to spend the day out here to try and make sure we're with them when the action unfolds. Of course, nobody knows when they're going to hunt, so we decided to wait with them until they decide to. So good prospects for later on. You'll be glad to know that Taylor and James are also heading out in the Mara. There's no feed from Djuma today, sadly. Those guys are all taking a bit of a breather, and you'll be further glad to know that Taylor has already found you some elephants. Off you go.
We have indeed. We didn't have to look very far. It's a magnificent view from up here. We actually waited here on purpose. But my name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is... Am I going to say David, Darby? I can't think of a good one. I was going to try and come up with a new nickname, but it didn't work. Remember, this is live, this is interactive, this is happening right now. Hashtag Safari Live, or you can chat to us on the YouTube chat, of course. Now, again, just apologies for the little bit of a late start, but we are here. Better late than never. Now, plenty of elephants. There's even a couple of buffalo scattered about, but not one wildebeest and not one zebra in sight. That is not good news for us. So herds have moved further south. Well, we might have to go and check along the river line, because this morning we had quite a few big herds of zebra, but no big herds of wildebeest. I wonder where they have gone. So I think our plan for this afternoon is to head down towards the river and just have a little squiz. We're probably going to check up on the Angama pride, and then we're going to head around to the jackal den, which is near Hippo Pools, and we'll spend a bit of time with them if they're out and about, and we'll just have a look at anything that's on the way. I'd like to do a bit of birding today as well. I think that could be quite nice. Let's go a bit closer to these elephants. Oh, I'm rolling. Oh, no. Not the roll. Oh, there's a tiny little baby elephant. Let me see if I can get a closer view. It's so small. Oh, shame. Oh, I'm sorry, Darby. You're going to have to hold on here. Wait. A little bit bumpy. Okay. Are you ready to see a baby elephant? Because I'm definitely ready to see a baby elephant. Oh, or maybe we're going to watch elephants chase buffalo out of mud wallows. That could work too. I'd quite like to see that. You see them heading down that way. I'm just going to go down a little bit further. Looks like some of them have actually been splashing around the mud already. Okay, and now I'm going to switch off and we're going to roll. Oh my goodness, why is that elephant trying to do a handstand? Oh. I will stop right here. How's that? Oh, buffalo running. They didn't like the trumpet from the elephant that had his head in the grass. And there's some buffalo. Hello, boys. Are you missing your horns? Or I just can't see them properly. Oh, that gives a real definition to Dugger Boy. A buffalo that is covered in mud. And it seems as though this one cow, she's not even in the mud. She's actually just going for the little shrubs that are growing around there. Perhaps she'll change her mind. It does look like earlier today they may have covered themselves in mud. It was particularly warm. The clouds have just come back over again, and it's starting to cool down quite nicely. But we don't want clouds tonight. We want to watch the moon rise. So we might have to find ourselves a good spot. Perhaps we'll just see it as it pops over the horizon. Isn't that cool? There's so many elephants around. It really is so fantastic at the moment. And I'm really enjoying the fact that they are so relaxed as well. Just like the Sabi sand elephants. They come right up to the car, which is precious. Now, that's a tiny little elephant. And see what its reaction is going to be as it approaches some of the buffalo. Older calf going in quite happily, not too bothered by them at all. No, they're not going to bother the buffalo. That's quite nice of them. But that's little. That's maybe a month old, month and a half old. Very, very small. There are actually quite a few little ones moving around here. They've already gone down towards the tree line, though. They are making their way back up the escarpment where they will spend the night until tomorrow morning, and maybe we'll see them walking the exact same path. I think it is the same herd we saw this morning. The one with where we had the hippo. Sinak, you say, is so beautiful. It is. Especially this little one. Is not so sure about the buffalo. And also with mom being so close, they often act a little bit braver than they should. And you wouldn't want to mess with a buffalo, but I also wouldn't want to mess with an elephant too. Oh, it's tiny. It's smelling the air. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, we've got a little bit of a boxing match here between elephants. Most likely two young bulls testing one another's strength. One on the left does not look impressed at all. Let's see. You've got a bit of an advantage. You're slightly higher ground. You could have quite a nice run up there to your friend. Who's going to make the first move? This is always one of my favorite things to watch. Look at them now, digging their heels in, not wanting to move. Who is going to be the stronger one of the two? Now, they're not particularly old. They must be around 10 years old, give or take. And this is normal behavior of young boys getting rid of their frustrations. And I think it's very important that they do practice and push each other around rather than bothering the cows and the younger calves. And that's when the females won't really tolerate them anymore. Here we go, locking trunks. But again, it's not anything aggressive. It's really just sort of playful. Now, planes and trends, you're wondering how big can an elephant get? They can get quite large. I reckon that the elephants here get a little bit bigger than the ones in South Africa. I've just noticed the average size of the cows are much larger. So I would say that the females are between 4 and 4.5 tons, around there. I haven't seen a big bull yet. That's what I'm actually so surprised about. I mean, here's a youngster. The bulls, typically in South Africa, we see them getting to 5.5 tons, an exceptionally large one. But I have yet to see an enormous elephant bull. I wonder where they all are. But he's got lovely ivory, but he's also very, very young. He's about the same age as those two that were pushing each other around. Maybe he'll go and join in on the fun. But for now, he is nibbling on some shrubs. I wonder what little plant you've got over there. Looks lovely, lush and green. Oh, isn't that delicious? Well, I don't know if it's delicious because I don't eat plants, some plants. But we're going to carry on. We're going to go and look for the Angama pride now before we set on our adventure towards the jackals. Let's go across to James and find out whereabouts he is.
James was also going to go to the Angama Pride, but he's going to turn around now. He didn't know Taylor was going to go there before she went to the jackals. So we'll turn around and go towards the river. Good afternoon. Lovely to have you with us on the Sunset Safari. There we have a warthog, an enormous warthog. And Craig was saying to me, Craig is on camera by the way, he was saying to me that he thought the pigs of the Mara are larger than the pigs of South Africa, and I agreed with him. Many of you have commented on the size of the animals here relative to the ones in the Kruger, and I really think it's much of a muchness. I don't think that there's a great deal of difference at all, except for the pigs. I think the pigs here are certainly larger than their South African counterparts. Why that should be the case, well, I couldn't really tell you. My name is James Henry, in case you're wondering who on earth this person yakking at you is. Very good, that's me staring at the sky. And we'd love to have any questions or comments that you have to the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Otherwise, you can use the YouTube chat stream, whatever works best for you. Questions, comments, anything else you might want to say to us? Within reason, we will do our best to answer for you. Also, we have a number of jaywalking baboons up front. And we don't seem to spend a huge amount of time with the jaywalking baboons because they tend to rush off rather too quickly, but in my opinion the best looking baboon species of this kind of baboon, in other words not including things like the mandrills and those sorts of things which have those very colourful faces. This is the olive baboon, and they are in amongst some pigs. pigs and baboons. What a day, what a day. It's a lovely calm afternoon. It was a very blustery morning we began with, and now it's a beautiful calm afternoon, and I must say very peaceful indeed. And then we've got some zebras over there. Yvette, you're wondering what time sunset is going to be. Sunset, Yvette, will be at round about 6:15, as far as I can remember. Yeah, but about 6:15, between 6:15 and 6:30. I'm wondering if we might get a bit of a sunset today, which is quite nice. There's some cloud in the west, but it's not very thick, so we might get a decent sunset. We haven't had one for a while, and that is on account of the fact that we've had just an exceptional amount of rain of late. Very unusual, I'm told, because the long rains were supposed to end in mid-July, and well, if this isn't a long rainy season, then I don't know what is. You will also notice that there is not one wildebeest on those plains whatsoever. All of them have gone to the south and then to the east into the main Masai Mara Reserve and south into Tanzania, where the rains have been falling. And it's going to be fascinating to see whether the rains that we had here yesterday brings them back into this area, or if they're going to remain gone from here until next year. My bet is on them coming back. There's still a huge amount to eat in this part of the world. Righty, and then something else I wanted to show you. Oh yes, they're a bit far away, but they are there on that sort of plain across there. We've got some Eland. You see them there, Krugers? Here we go. I would like to spend a bit more time around Eland. There's my little secret confession for the afternoon, and I'd like to spend some more time with them because I just think that they're rather fantastic. And we had a wonderful experience, David and I, the other day, as we were driving through the town of Talek, a lamentable settlement, just sort of on the way to, well, halfway across the northern section of the main Masai Mara Reserve. There's an eland there that has taken up residence. It has come out of the reserve, and it was standing outside a cell phone store being tickled by a patron. Yeah, that's what I said, tickled on the nose by a patron. And the eland is in fact a domesticatable, semi-domesticatable animal. It doesn't have it's got pretty good milk production, nothing like that of a cow or a buffalo, but not too bad. And there were groups of people, certainly in southern Africa, the Kokoi, or versions thereof, who used to keep them almost like cattle as they moved up and down the sort of very dry western parts of southern Africa. So there's my eland story for you there, and I think they're rather spectacular looking creatures, the biggest antelope, as far as I know, in the whole world. Now let us go back to Scott Dyson, who I believe is still sitting with his cheetah in the main Masai Mara Reserve. I don't know about...
Yes, indeed, we are still sitting here patiently. As you can see, they are very, very sleepy. The good news with cheetah is that it can change quite quickly, so they can get up without too much warning. I've been seeking refuge from the sun, so I'll reposition myself now. Like I said a little bit earlier, this is Malaika, a female leopard. I've spent too many hours out in the field. A female cheetah with her two boys that are probably around 15 months, approaching 16 months of age. And what's interesting is that there's also two sisters that roam this general area that left their mother when they were only 14 months of age. So it'll be very, very interesting to see when, in fact, these guys leave, and when, in fact, that frees up the opportunity for her to give birth to another bunch of little cute cheetah cubs. So that's something we are seriously looking forward to. Hello to Bree. You would like to know, when will cheetah cubs be sexually mature? And the males, it'll probably take them a little bit longer than the females, and that's usually the case also with leopard. It's often the case as well, and lion. So anywhere from about 2 years of age will the females be sexually active, and anywhere from about 4 years of age in all likelihood will the males begin to become sexually active. Of course it does vary. It's just like asking how old are humans when their beards start to grow. Some beards never grow, and some grow when the guys are tiny little boys, and vice versa. So it can go either way, and there are slight fluctuations between individuals. that's another good point, I guess, in that those two 16-month-old sisters will hopefully be coming into season relatively soon. And the more cheetah we get to lay our eyes on and share with you, the better. Having said that, though, there are good cheetah populations here. They are well looked after by the park rangers and researchers, making sure that when there are cubs, there's not too much vehicle pressure on them. Hello to Christy. You said it looks like these cheetah haven't moved all night. They have, in fact. When we found them this morning just after sunrise, they were on the move, only for a very short period of time, for about 5 minutes, and then they were pretty much stationary for the whole drive. They got up once or twice during the 3-hour safari, and after the safari they started moving through a big open clearing, and I said to Manu, who's on camera with me, that we just kind of always got to be ready for an antelope like a reed buck or an oribi to pop out of the grass, because there'll be an epic chase that we could therefore miss. And no longer than 10 seconds later, all hell broke loose, and these three were after a little scrub hare. So they did manage to catch it. One of the boys, two of the boys actually did the most chasing, but Malika, their mother, was the one who ended up doing the deed. She was lucky though. The scrub hare was zigzagging away from the two boys, and she ended up going straight into the mother. So they had a little snack this morning, and then they continued walking after they made that kill about a mile to where we are here now, and that finished at about probably 11:30, 12 o'clock. They stopped moving, and it's about 4 o'clock now, 4:30 now actually, so they've been relaxing for quite some hours. But that will change, I'm sure. I'm not sure if I'm getting your name right. I think it's Planes and Trains or something like that, but you know who you are. And you'd like to know what is the largest prey that cheetah can take down, and it all depends on the cheetah, and usually whether it's female or male. Male cheetah can bring down bigger prey than female cheetah. Female cheetah, the biggest prey I've seen a female cheetah kill is a female adult kudu, which is a very large antelope. So that's the largest female cheetah kill I've seen. Male cheetah can kill animals as big as wildebeest. Fully grown wildebeest is going to be very, very difficult for just one cheetah to do. I'm sure it has happened, but when you start getting coalitions of cheetah, like we've been lucky enough to follow a coalition of 5 that are wildebeest hunting machines, both big and small. So I think a wildebeest is probably the largest prey that cheetah are going to try and attack. Here they occasionally try and catch topi as well, which is also quite a large antelope. Too large for a female cheetah, that is for certain, but not too large for the animals that Taylor is looking for. She is on the prowl for the Angama pride, and I've got happy memories of them trying to catch topi when I first arrived in the Mara late one night. Unsuccessfully initially, but they did come right in the end. Let's hope possibly the same thing happens with you guys and Taylor. See you later.
Wouldn't that be just fantastic? Well, we're going to see if we can find the Angama pride. There's quite a few zebra around here. I've seen some more elephants. So I wonder if those lions are still sleeping, sort of where we left them yesterday, or if they are, well, going to be somewhere else. I'm not too sure. I don't think they would have moved too far. It actually got quite hot. But I think, I wish that the Angamas would actually move a little bit further to the west. And just because if they go any more to the east, we're not going to be able to really view them because, they're too far off road, which is no good for us. But who knows, they could have come back again. I haven't seen too many cars around here just yet, so I don't know if anybody has come out this way. A lot of the people who come on safari in Kenya tend to do the all-day safari, so they go out early in the morning, and then they sort of come back around this time. And if the park does close quite early, remember, we're lucky, we can stay out after 6:30. Everybody else has to be back at their camps, or at least back at the gates by 6:30. Otherwise you're going to find yourself in a little bit of trouble. Let's check these drainage lines, because they also like to lay down in here. I think this is the first place I found them, was in this area, just over here. But it doesn't look like there's a lion there. Who knows, maybe an elephant has chased them back this way too. Now, OD farming, you're wondering what is my most favorite encounter ever? Well, it's a fairly recent one, I must tell you. It was from a couple of evenings ago, where we had the serval and hyena interaction. That was quite cool. I really enjoyed watching that. I didn't ever think I'd see something like that in my entire life, but here we go. So that was pretty spectacular. I've had so many. I've had some amazing sightings with elephants. They're always really good, always fun to watch. I've seen some cars just parked up ahead here. So it's quite tough to choose one, but I've definitely, now this recent one is my absolute best. And I think I'm going to see more spectacular things like that while I'm up here in the Mara too. So they're not the elephants, there are some elephants, but the lions are a little bit further away. I'm just going to see, I think I can see one. Is that a lion's head that I can see? I'm just going to keep going until I can find a decent, yes, I can see them. Okay, they're far away, but we'll get a nice view. Hi, elephants. They don't seem to be bothering about the lions. There they are. I'll just show you here quickly. Can you see where I'm talking about? They're straight through there. 11 o'clock. Fast asleep with dinner in sight, but not paying too much attention just yet. Look like they're sleeping on a bit of a termite mound. There are some youngsters that seem to be sitting up. I'm trying to think whereabouts in relation are they? Where are you looking, David? I'm trying to look at your camera. I can see other ones. Can you see? Oh, can you? I'm trying to work out. Ah, my goodness. I actually can't see the ones that the lines that David just showed you now. Oh, this is beautiful. Now, unfortunately, this is the best view we're going to get. They're very far off-road, about 100 meters or so in a non-off-roading area. So we'll just have a look at them from here. But you can see warthog, zebra. There's plenty of animals around. So maybe a little bit later tonight, although I actually don't think it's going to make too much of a difference whether they hunt now or whether they hunt this evening. It'll be a slightly cooler, of course, in an hour, 2 hours' time. The winds might start to gust, but we know that there's a full moon on the rise. But if the clouds hang around, there won't be too much light anyways. It's amazing how everything lives in such close proximity to one another. It really is so spectacular. Now, planes and trains, you're wondering how many lions are in this pride. Well, from what I could see this morning, and I told you I was going to do lion research on the sunrise safari, so that's what I was doing. Goodness gracious, the amount of prides of lions in this area is unbelievable. So, the Angama pride is 4 lionesses, not 5. I don't know why I thought there were 5, but there are 4, and we saw all 4 of them this morning. And then I've now seen varying numbers of how many cubs. I counted 9 lions, little ones this morning of various ages, but I see some people are saying 7, some people are saying 10. So I haven't actually seen them all together where I can physically count them. They've always been on the move, so I don't know if I missed one. But this morning I definitely counted 9. I made sure of it. I think I counted 3 or 4 times just to make sure. Now, apparently there's another pride of lions, and I think I've seen them as well, the Olololo pride. And from what I was reading is that the Angama pride and the Olololo pride, which is 3 lionesses and some cubs, they broke away a few years ago from the marsh pride. They swam across the Mara River and came this way and chased I think it was the Chitwa Tembo pride of lions out of this particular spot in the northern sort of Mara Triangle, and now they live here. So they seem to have separated though, and formed the pride of 3 lionesses, and then of course this group of 4 lionesses. But they're living within such close proximity. I wouldn't be surprised if you'd see them together every now and then. But so there's still lots and lots I need to learn, and I've printed a little map, and I'm going to start marking off where every time that I see these lions. Actually, let's try and do that now. Let me see if I can open my book. I also almost super glued my fingers together today, just in case you were wondering. Okay, Darby, I'll show you them how I almost You're going to laugh. So I didn't have any normal glue or anything like that, so I used super glue. And then this is where I almost stuck my fingers. Can you see it? It's almost stuck my fingers to the page over there. And then I got that stuck on the page. And then I almost stuck my fingers together in the OK symbol with my index finger and my thumb. It would have been particularly awkward. I'm going to just find my other map. I have another one. I think this one is going to be easier to use when you turn it around. So we are, where are we? Okay. So here's the river, the escarpment. We're probably around, just want to quickly just get my bearings. We're up here somewhere. So I'm just going to do a rough thing. I'm going to say, see, it's a pity this one doesn't really have the drainage systems in it, so that would help, because if I had the main drainage system, which is just off to my right, I'd be able to use that. But the Olololo gate is just up there. I'm going to say we must be around here somewhere. Let's do a dot there. And that's where I'm going to put the Angamas. And then this morning, I'm going to do another one. We saw them a little bit further away. And I think I'm going to get different colored pens. Oh, sorry, David. I'm shuffling here. I think I'm going to get different colored pens and actually start plotting and then try and work out their territories for myself. Because obviously I can look at maps and I can do it that way. But it's quite nice. I think the best way of learning is if you actually physically do it yourself. And then you start to learn the specific points that these lions like to lay in. And by the sounds of it, they don't really move too far out of their sort of home ranges. So it's quite interesting. So we're going to try and do that as we go along. That's going to be our plan. But let's go a little bit forward. Let's see if we can get another view. Heather, you're wondering if I think that the lions, the termites are bothered by the lions laying on their mound. Nah, lions won't necessarily eat termites. However, I wouldn't put it past them gobbling up a couple of the L8s, especially the young lions, because they're so full of nutrition. I saw one lion moving around now, but physically sitting on top of the mound won't really bother them too much at all. Just trying to think. Oh, it's a little one, a youngster. So no. Where's our next gap? Now all these lovely little shrubs that are great for the lions, not particularly great for us when it comes to wanting to view them. Let's just keep going on. Maybe we get a better spot. It's fairly open and the grass is so short. It's just these shrubs that are not too great. Now, a question from Bree. Sorry, I'm not looking at you. I'm trying to spot the lions, also make sure there's no one driving behind us. And the question is, do the young lions ever catch prey? Not at this age. A little bit too young. They'll be intrigued by birds and squirrels and rats and mice that are maybe running around on the ground. Maybe they'll chase after them. Whether they'll be successful, probably not. I'll be surprised. I think leopards are a little bit more on the keen side for chasing after things, especially when they're young like that. Okay, I think we might get a view. It's a hard one. I'm hoping, though, that they just keep moving towards these zebras a little bit later. We might come back here, which would be great. They can just come a little bit closer to the road. That'd be spectacular and work perfect for us. At the moment, it's not ideal, but it's nature, and you can't have everything go your way all the time. We're very spoiled anyways. I mean, how many different lions do we get to see all the time? It's so great. They're sneaky. Tough to see them, hey, Darby? I don't think we're going to get... Oh, no. No, is that one of the mounds that we're laying on? Let's have a look. There was a little moundy just to the left. No, I don't think that's a lion on there. I think that's just... Oh, sorry, I was switching the car off. No, that's not a lion. Okay, well, it's so difficult. Those lions actually moved up and out of view from the spot that we had before. They're trying to find maybe a little bit more shade. So we'll carry on. We'll come back here a bit later. Let's head towards the jackal then and get there before sunset. I'm going to send you across to James, and he's got the tallest animal in the world.
There we are. We have a giraffe, a tipple skirtry, and there are a few things about Safari Live that I think we need to kind of ease out of. All of us, to a man and a woman, every time we link to a giraffe, we say, mysteriously, we're going across to James, or I say I'm going across to Taylor, who's got the tallest animal in the world, which of course we think is very mysterious. but it isn't really. So we need to be a bit more creative about this stuff. It's very difficult to think about it on the fly. I'm the worst culprit of the cliche out here, however, so I'm going to work on it myself. The first cliche that I keep perpetuating is that every time you come back to me I say, hello everybody, which of course is now getting a little tired. Now, that is my little rant on the state of affairs here at Safari Live. Let us just enjoy the soft light that is falling on this giraffe. It looks very magnificent indeed. And it is in amongst some zebra. And there are lions not too far from here, but I think even Taylor's lions, poorly visible as they were, are better visible than the ones we have here. These chaps seem to be almost completely hidden in the grass, and I wonder which ones they are. Quite possibly of the sausage tree pride, or maybe the olololos, I'm really not sure at all. But this might be a good place to come back to as the sun starts to set, because of course they may go on the hunt then. But we're in a non-off-roading zone, and we're not going to spend too long here. We'll head back along the river and see what else is happening. Isn't that nice? Sinak, you're wondering what species of giraffe this is. Sinak, this giraffe species is known as the Maasai giraffe, and that is a cow. It's a female. You can tell that by, first of all, the fact that her horns are hourglass shaped with hair on the top of them. And, well, sometimes that's a little difficult to see. The easiest thing to do, of course, is just look between the back legs. And if there ain't nothing there, then you know it's a female. And what's interesting, Sinak, I think you said she looks so big. Not really. I think they're smaller than the southern giraffe, in fact. Very slightly smaller. And although I've called them a different species, they're actually the same species. They're just a different subspecies. And it's so interesting to think that just about every single animal we have up here is a different subspecies from the ones down at Djuma. Heather, you're wondering about what the most closely related species to a giraffe is. The most closely related species to a giraffe is something called an okapi, and it is found in the Central African rainforests, and I will find you a picture of the okapi, and simply because it's a remarkable looking creature, and I'd love to see one. I haven't ever seen one, but I would very much like to see one. I'm just going to try and find it in my book here. I'll tell you, Craig, I'll get there. I promise I'll get there. I know I shall. There we have, I shall. I've done it. That's it there. Can you see it there, Craig? Look at that strange looking creature. That is the okapi. And it's found in the Central African rainforests, or in the Congo basin, basically, in the Congo, and perhaps, in fact, largely only in the Congo. And that's the only living relative of the giraffe. So the only living thing in the same family as the giraffe, and that is the okapi. And let's just have a quick listen to what we can hear around here. You can hear a dove. They're not nearly as ubiquitous as they are in South Africa. Here's some sort of testicular calling. Psst, 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 psst. Franklin. But I find it much more silent here in the grasslands than I do in the woodlands of South Africa. This giraffe popped her head up, and that tells me that perhaps she has spotted a lion. She has. There's the lion. And you see him there, Craig. He's almost certainly going to sit down and go back to sleep immediately, but there he is, our big male lion. And I, rather like everyone else in the world, have never seen a small male lion. And it's an abiding fascination for me, the way we say that, oh, there's a big male lion there, there's a beautiful female lion, We never ever say there's an ugly lioness and there's a small male lion. Never happens. Same with leopards. I've never heard anybody say there's a small male leopard. Now, there was somebody asked me the other day about a browse line, and I don't know if you remember that. And I don't even remember what the context was. But Craig, if we can go across to that tree that has the vulture in it. You see that there? You can see that tree's got a very clear browse line. It's been chopped at an exact level. And I think that's almost certainly by a giraffe that have picked the leaves up to that level, and they're unable to pick any more than that. Now, I don't know what species it is. Looks like it could be related to an apple leaf of some sort, but I'm not sure. And none of the other tree species around here, oh, there are one or two. In fact, if you follow the line of that woodland, you can see one or two species that have definitely been sort of shaped by the attentions of the giraffe, which I think is quite interesting, because many do not have such a line, so some are obviously not very palatable. The lion has done as I suspected he would. He's gone back down to sleep. There are apparently 2 lionesses and 2 males in there. Obviously the lionesses are beautiful and both the males are big. And then underneath that very nice green tree there, can you see the green tree? Well, they're all green really. It's the greener tree to the right of that, if you would be so kind, Craig. Don't laugh at me. There we are. That's it there. Underneath that we've got some marabu stalks. And the marabu stalks are almost certainly feeding on the remnants of a wildenbeesten that either died of natural causes or was most possibly taken down by this pride of lions. Now, in the same way that we link across to the tallest animal in Africa, mysteriously, let's go across to Scott for mysteriously the fastest animal in the world.
Not right now, no. But yes, possibly later we will see the fastest mammal on the planet doing its thing, and wouldn't that be nice? They're not looking too lively now, but about 15 minutes ago they were tossing and turning, a bit of yawning, so I think they've just hit the snooze button and are having one little session before they get up and go. Let's hope that's the case. It would be lovely to get them going while we've still got some golden afternoon sunlight. Having said that though, it's looking like a good evening for a sunset. There's not too many clouds out to the west, so that is some good news. To the south of us though, where the rain comes from, it's looking a bit more gloomy. So as Manu pans across to the right, you'll see there's a bit thicker vegetation. Well, we've got some very exciting news from Taylor's vehicle, almost as exciting as James's giraffe helping find that lion. Off you go.
How exciting is this? We have not just one black rhino, we actually had 2, but the other one disappeared into the thicket, but that doesn't matter because we've got another one coming towards us. Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't been able to talk or actually show you rhinos since today. So this is the black rhino, Diceras bicornis. It's the same species that we get in South Africa. There's the second one. That looks like a female on the left, and I reckon the one that we saw on the right was, well, it could have been, it actually looked like an older one, because I don't know if you noticed, I did see a tatty ear. Now, I can share all sorts of exciting stories with you about black rhinos. I've spent lots and lots of time with them down in the Eastern Cape. They were the most relaxed black rhino I've ever come across. They'd just about come up to your car, like a white rhino would. And down here, I'm not too sure how they behave. We're very far away. You can see they're just hugging the tree line at the moment. So typically, black rhinos are territorial. Male and female, they both mark and defend territories. And I thought this rang true right until about 2.5, 3 years ago, when I saw 7 black rhino together. How incredible is that? 2 adult females, a male, fully grown male, No, it must have been more. Was it 3 females, 2 big males, and then there was 2 calves or something ridiculous. I forget the combination of it. There were adults of males and females, and they were in a lion sighting. It was really cool, quite close onto the airstrip. Now, it wasn't a particularly long sighting. They've just dipped down. We'll see. Maybe we can go around and get another view. Very, very, very cool, though. That's amazing. Let's go. Actually, let's see. I don't know if there's a road that goes down that way. Whoop. A little bit bumpy. Now, Jacqueline, you say yay! I presume you exclaimed yay like that. This is the first time you've seen a rhino. Well, it's the first time in almost a year that I've been able to show you a rhino, so I'm ecstatic. I think that's the only way to describe what I'm feeling at the moment. I really want to try and get another view for you because they're such beautiful creatures, and I want to just see what the dynamics here. If it is a male and a female, which would be very common, or if it's maybe 2 females moving around together. That's what I love so much about nature, is that the more you spend time with these animals, the more you learn that often what people have written about them 15 years ago, it's you know, the more time you spend with them, you start to see things and you go, actually, I don't agree with that anymore. I've seen them doing the complete opposite. Now, Bree, you're wondering if they're sociable. White rhinos are very much sociable. You can see them in quite large groups. And like I said to you, I thought male and female mark and defend territory the only time they come together for mating. And then I had the sighting where I had adult males and females and youngsters and sort of all interacting with one another. So I think that they're a lot more social than we actually know. And hopefully when we start to spot them, and we'll try and come around these areas. I said to David this morning when we were driving, I was like, this is a really good area for black rhino. Hopefully we'll be able to spend more time with them and we'll see more and more interactions. They're incredible, the black rhinos. It's the only animal I've ever been, well, rhino species I've been charged by. I was charged by a black rhino quite badly once. It was interesting. He was very grumpy. I'm going to go around this car. Let's try and get them again. See, I'm not sure if they've just ducked into the thicket, if they're going to come towards us. They might even just step out and we're going to miss them. But we'll try our best and have a look here. Might have to use the good old binoculars. Have a little scan around. CNAC, you're wondering if I know how many rhinos are in this park? I think even if I did know the numbers of the rhinos, I probably wouldn't disclose that too much, but I don't know how many rhinos are around here. I think we're very privileged that we're going to show them, but let's not brag about how many are around here. Fortunately, there's some nasty people out here that want to do horrific things to the rhinos. We'll just leave it at that. That's just my opinion, but I also don't know the number. Whee, that was a big bump. Sorry, David, you almost lost you to out the car to get you a safety belt. Where's that tape? I'll just strap you down. Let's see. I think they're coming this way. I'm going to go, what I'll do is I'll go past everybody, because if we don't get another view, then we'll carry on to the jackal den. And just sneak past here. And even if that was, oh, there they are. There we go. Kathy, a very interesting question with you. This will spark an interesting conversation. Wondering how common is it for leopard, lion or cheetah to attack a rhino? Not particularly common. I remember there was a sighting in the Kruger National Park, though, where the lions were trying to take on, I think they ended up killing this rhino. Young rhino, but it sounded like it was injured. Something was wrong with its leg, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's particularly tough. So a sighting that I've actually had before, which was, oh sorry, there's a car that's just going to go past us. Oh, are they going to go past it? No, they're going to stop. That's fine. Okay. We just thought they were going to go past us, so we're just repositioning, but there we go. We've still got a view. So I had the sighting once, Kathy. It was incredible. It was in the Eastern Cape where lions jumped upon a white rhino's back, and this white rhino was not having any of it, and it was, I think it was lions that were introduced into the area that had maybe never seen rhinos before and thought, oh hey, this could make a great meal, and they jumped on its back, and all the rhino did was run through an acacia thicket, the acacia karus. Out came the rhino, no lions. Lions do not have tough skin like rhinos do, especially on their sides, on their back, on their rump. It's quite thin and sensitive around the ears and also around the tail. But and even lions' claws wouldn't do too much damage by gripping onto the back of a rhino. So it's not favorite food of the lions, and I think that they'll leave them around, especially something like a black rhino that's known to have a short fuse. I wouldn't want to get on the other end of that sharp horn. I don't think they would stand for any nonsense at all. Isn't this great? Now, Jones, you know, we were talking about rain and animals being water dependent and, you know, hippos and things like that and them dehydrating. Your question's well similar. How water dependent are black rhino? Well, a lot of the vegetation that they're feeding on, remember, they're browsers, so they don't graze. They'll get a lot of their moisture from plants, but they will drink. I pretty much, when I was guiding down in the Eastern Cape, there was one really old black rhino male, and he used to go down and have a drink every afternoon at the same dam. It was just his favorite spot, and he would wallow in it too. So I think it depends on a lot of different things. How lush the vegetation is in the area. If there's water available, of course they will drink it. Like the white rhinos, they love to have a little bit of wallow. So I think it just depends. And there's plenty of little pools of water for them to have a sip on. But it's not particularly hot here. So I don't think so. Obviously the animals climatized to their environment. I mean, the rhinos down in South Africa will be slightly different to the black rhinos up here because, well, the habitat's different, the temperature's different, you know, there's lots of different things. All that movement you can hear behind me, there are lots and lots of vehicles about here. They are so excited to see the black rhino. I don't know how common of a sight it is to see. I think that we're very, very privileged. Now, I can't tell you if it's a male or female from here. I think that's the female, though, because like I said to you, the second one had a very, very tattered left ear, and I wonder if that's maybe not a bull from fighting. Often sort of get raggy ears. We see that with lions as well, and leopards too. As they get older, it looks like it has a notch or something out of its ear. Perhaps they have been doing some research on them here. Not necessarily tagging them with a tracking device, but possibly taking blood samples and then notching, being able to identify them. Or it could just be natural too. It's so far away. I'm actually, while you're looking, I want to have a quick look with my binoculars. I just want to be able to, there's a bit of a glare on the screen. Maybe I'll be able to give you some more insight. See if I can see the other one. I haven't seen it pop out yet. Where did you go? Now, no one likes me. I don't like your Twitter handle. You make me sad when you say that. But I know that you're happy because you're watching the show, but you're wondering if there's any particular reason why the rhino has that big horn. Most certainly, it's very, very important, a horn to a rhino. And really, rhinos only need their horns. I don't know why people constantly want to murder these creatures. It's very, very sad. We know why, of course, for medicinal reasons. However, for a rhino, for protection is the main reason, and also for greeting. You'll find when rhinos meet each other, they often sort of will greet with their horns, as an elephant will use its trunk to greet one another. Rhinos do a very similar thing, but it plays a very, very important role for protection. And you can see there was even a little oxpecker that was hopping around on that rhino too. This is so exciting. I can't believe that I finally got to see my first black rhino, not even just one black rhino, 2 black rhinos. This is so great. This is unbelievable. I wish we were a little bit closer, though. We're very far away. Sassy, now, another question that's also quite common. I'm so sad that we don't seem to chat about rhinos so much, but now we can, and that is, how long can they live for? Typically between, I would say, between 40 and 45 years old. Not much more than that, maybe even slightly less. Again, unfortunately, a lot of rhinos don't reach their maximum lifespan due to the fact that they are poached. It's very, very sad. Also, there can be a lot of casualties when it comes to rhinos that are fighting. They're very, very aggressive. I've seen a black rhino versus white rhino before. My goodness, what a savage fight that was. They don't like to tolerate each other, the two different species. But I think we'll leave this rhino now. We'll move on. It's quite far away and head towards the jackal then. We're going to send you back into Scott's car on the other side of the river, and his cheetah have now sat up and are having a groom.
Yes, indeed. Malika, the mother, has started grooming herself. and this is a very, very good sign. This indicates that in all likelihood she is getting ready for her afternoon out. The two boys don't seem as interested in grooming, but they do have their heads up. Such awesome news that Taylor found you guys a rhino. I remember seeing one on my first drive I took you guys on through the Masai Mara, and since then I've only seen, I think, two from a huge distance. So I haven't had much luck with the rhino, so very happy to hear you have this afternoon. And the sun has just disappeared behind a cloud temporarily. It's going to pop out shortly. I don't know if Manu will be able to show it to you, but just to let you know that the sun has not disappeared forever. It's just a short break behind a cloud. Our roof sometimes prevents us showing you the shots that we would like to, but it is very important because with the rainy weather out here, it can, well, it's a lifesaver. David, you would like to know if the full moon tonight is going to help these cheetah hunting. Yes and no. It's going to help them. I mean, they're going to be able to see better. They're going to be more confident to move after dark and hunt after dark. But, to be honest, it's going to also make it much easier for the prey species. And what I found is that on full moon nights, predators tend to be a lot less successful because the prey can detect them too early. So, I don't think it's going to make a huge positive difference for them. A negative possibly could be that other predators may also be able to see them. Other hyena, other lion, leopard, that will all steal a kill from them. So even though I think it's an even playing field for all parties, essentially, the only thing it may mean is that they may be more likely to move. They'll feel safer moving with a full moon than they would in pitch darkness. Even with their eyesight, which is good after dark, it's obviously much better during the day, and they are cautious of lion in this area. There's a lot of lion that move through this area, so sadly we're not going to be spending the night out with them. We need to go and scrub ourselves down and get a decent meal and a bed, as we would have been out for over 24 hours by the time we end the safari. So yeah, sadly we will not be with them tonight. It's quite hard. It's going to be quite hard to leave them, but we are left with no option. Now we're kind of parked in quite a few bushes, so I'm not sure if there is much prey around. Anything immediately. That's not to say though that there isn't going to be something for them to try and chase down in one of these valleys. There's quite a few little rolling hills through this area, so you can't see as far as you ordinarily would be able to in a lot of parts in the Mara. Wonderful. Come on guys, take us for a walk. Jake, you would like to know, why do cheetahs have this very large tuft on the end of their tail? I mean, their tail is a hugely important tool to help them balance at the incredible speeds that they move at. I've never actually felt the end of a cheetah's tail. Oh, it's starting to rain. Whoops. Well, let's give it a moment. It's hopefully not going to be too bad. You'll probably start hearing the pitter-patter soon. So yes, I mean, it's for balance and steering, but I'm not sure if the tail is mainly fluff or if it's actually solid in any way. I'm guessing it's not going to be solid, so I'm guessing if it's just fluff, it must be aesthetic, possibly for cubs to follow mothers, a nice big lure to keep the cubs focused on their mother as she walks ahead of them would be probably the most likely reason for that big fluffy tail. Leo, you'd like to know, why do cheetahs shake their ears so frequently? A lot of the big cats do. It's to get flies off them. So it's just an involuntary muscle reflex to get the flies off them. I wish I could do that. Today when we were trying to have a snooze on the car, midday a fly kept landing on my ear and I couldn't just diggy diggy diggy. But it's a useful trick that they have, and like I said, lions and leopard will do it, and it all depends on how many flies are bothering them, which will increase the intensity and occurrence of those ear twitches. You can see we've had a few little droplets of rain. If I pull up the dashboard here, you might be able to see some little droplets. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad, but time will tell. There you can see a few little drops. You can also see where I cracked the windscreen when I was sleeping on it one night. Not a good move. Good, we're going to send you over to James, who has a bird of sorts.
A bird of sorts, yes. There is the bird of sorts, everybody. It is the, of course, superb starling. So named because it is, everyone together, a superb, correct, yes. Certainly one of the best looking starlings. Kenya boasts, or East Africa boasts, probably about 20 species of starling. The Masai Mara not quite so many. But there is the superb starling. And interestingly, I think the one that we're looking at there, no, that's an adult. See, it's got a sort of whitish, pale yellow eye. And then the other one doesn't have that, and I think that must be a juvenile. There it is, running towards its parent or friend, mentor. Aren't they a spectacular colour? And it changes every time they change away from the sun. Now, a question from somebody called I Didn't Do It. Well, I didn't do it. You want to know if we get crows here? Absolutely we do. The pied crow is the most common crow resident as far as I'm aware. I'll just check what other kinds of crows we get here. I do so enjoy these sorts of questions because we have spent a lot of time looking at the big predators here and not much at the birds. We possibly get something called the house crow. No, that is not found here. The pied crow, definitely. And the Cape rook, which is a sort of black crow, if you like. Yeah, those are the ones we get over here in the Masai Mara. This juvenile superb starling is somewhat enamoured with us, coming closer to have a look at Craig and his beard. Thomasina, you say it has a little white belt. Yes, it's not so much a belt as it is a sort of chest band, if you like. I nearly said a brassiere, but realised that perhaps that would be inappropriate. It's not really in the breast region. What it is? It's sort of halfway across the diaphragm, actually. So halfway between, let's call it a cummerbund, shall we? It's also got, of course, a white bottom. I think they're a magnificent species of starling. Black head, blue-purple neck, green back, russety underbelly, white cummerbund, white bottom. Now, the last members of the migration supposedly about to arrive, of course, are the Thomson's gazelle, and some of them are resident, and one of the residents seems to have had a little baby.
We're just trying to get a better view for you. But yes, there's a tiny little tot here. It's very sweet. And I'm hoping it runs up next to Mom so we can show you just how small this precious little thing actually is. Look at that. It is so sweet. Now, I think this female has dropped her little one a bit early, but that's normal. We see this in South Africa as well with the Impala and even sometimes with the wildebeest, and that's so it happens. It's not an uncommon thing, but one on its own like this, unfortunately, doesn't have a very good chance of survival. It's why they normally try and synchronize their births, and once a couple of them give birth within a few weeks, all the females will drop their youngsters. We know that safety in numbers. Seen as though we're on our way to the jackal den, this is apparently in this area, the black-backed jackal actually hound the Thomson's gazelle and quite regularly try and snatch up these youngsters. They can be a huge pest, and especially in South Africa on the farms. They often take goats and sheep. and it's why they're persecuted down that way. Out here, obviously, it's a bit easier. They can roam free, especially if they're up here. But again, with the communities, farming communities in the area, I'm sure they cause a bit of trouble. But I hope that this little one makes it. But realistically, I don't know if it will, which is a little bit sad. Now, I'm not sure how old it is. It doesn't look particularly old, and I haven't seen too many youngsters around, so maybe it's only a week or two. It seems to be moving around, just lagging a little bit behind Mom, but Mom waits for it. She's very patient. Tony, you've already spotted that Mom's moving a bit quickly, and you've said that she must slow down. I'll pass that message on to her. There we go. Now you can see the size difference. Look at that. Absolutely tiny. And I haven't really seen too many more Thomson's gazelle. There's a couple of them scattered here and there. Like James said, we're just waiting for them to arrive again. Oh, there we go. Mom waiting so that the little one can have a suckle. That might get the energy levels up again and perhaps be able to keep up with Mom. Wait, look at it go. Look how fast it can go. It's like a scrub hare. Look at it test its little legs. Go, Mom, go. Oh, that was fantastic. Wasn't that wonderful? It always amazes me as to how quickly these young animals can jump up to their feet and just go. And I think that just proved to you that no problem in keeping up with Mom. I mean, Impala are a little bit different. We see the same thing with waterbuck, bushbuck, and yala, kudu. Normally when they give birth to their little ones, they hang away and they go towards the thicketed areas to try and conceal the youngster for a week or two, and then they come back into the herds, and then those youngsters are really strong on their legs. They've got a good chance of keeping up with the herds. I'm not sure if the Thomson's gazelle do a similar thing, so that maybe that one is even a little bit older than what I thought. I just haven't seen many youngsters around at the moment. I'm just also watching out because there's a car behind us, but they're a little bit away. That was great. This is turning out to be a spectacular drive. I honestly thought this morning was the best drive that I'd had, but if it carries on like this and we get to the jackal den and those pups are out, this could be my favorite. Alright, let's go through here. Excuse me, zebra, coming through. Thank you very much. I always say the zebra here are way more obliging. Thank you. They obviously see a lot more tourists. Maybe they don't slow down like I do all the time. Just keeping an eye out. I don't want to hold anybody up, but I also don't want to eat anybody's dust. So I'm in two minds of actually moving out of the way. We'll get past this car. Oh no, they're way back. They've slowed down. Perhaps they also spotted that young Thomson's gazelle and decided to have a little look at it. Okay, we're going to go past this one, sneak off the side of the road, and then we'll carry on. Give a little wave here, a little wave there. Oh no, it sounds like Scott's having to put his rain covers on. Oh, there's the rain, David. I'm going, where is it? I can't see it. It's on the other side. Look how dark and miserable the sky looks. You can actually see the rain coming down. We're just going to keep driving slowly. I hope it doesn't come this way. Maybe we'll be in a spot of luck. The wind hasn't quite come about us just yet, so it's not blowing in any big clouds. But there are definitely some scary-looking clouds forming around us. They're actually behind us, around camp. Maybe camp's going to get a bit of rain first. So Alice, if you start to hear raindrops on the corrugated iron roof, please let us know. It'll be a good warning. We're going to move away from this escarpment though. I'm enjoying the little bits of rain that we're having. It's lovely and green, it's lush, everything looks so healthy, the animals look so healthy. It's fantastic. But we're going to head to the jackal den. I might put foot along this road so we get there quickly and have a bit of light. We're going to go now to James, who's also having a look at the wonderful animals of the Mara.
There we have some Defasar waterbuck, everybody, the Defasar waterbuck, with its, what did you describe it as, Craig? Not a target on its backside, but what? Oh, yes, quite. Yes. Okay, I'd forgotten that it wasn't that appropriate. He said that, of course, the waterbuck in South Africa's got a loo seat imprinted on its backside, and Craig said that the Defasar waterbuck has got a urinal imprinted on its backside. I think that's quite amusing. And that is how you know the difference between the two. Good. Well done. I must try and remember your jokes before I share them, Craig. Otherwise I'm going to get myself into some trouble. Then we've also got some Impala back there. And one of... Ooh, the thunder is starting to thunder us. We've also got some pigs. Let's have a look at the Impala. I hope it's not going to rain on us today. It would be nice to have one rain-free afternoon. Yesterday we really thought we were going to get smashed, and there was a huge storm on this side of the river, but we managed to escape it. Vanessa, you're wondering about tornadoes and if we get tornadoes here. Vanessa, no, we don't get tornadoes. I'm not a huge weather expert, but as far as I understand it, Vanessa, tornadoes only occur in areas where there is very flat ground. So, you know, like the flatlands of Middle America, you've got to have, like Kansas, I guess, you've got to have a huge expanse of flat area. Now, the area here is gently undulating topography with mountainous regions in various parts, the huge Inselbergs in various places in, you know, of much of the Mara, and you need to have much flatter land if you're going to have a tornado. I don't know of any areas in East Africa, I mean I'm sure there are some, it's not to say that there aren't any, where you get tornadoes. But certainly in South Africa there are very few. One of them is the Orange Free State, or the Free State. It's not called the Orange Free State anymore, mercifully. And there it's flat, like it is in the central parts of America. And so the conditions are conducive to tornadoes every now and again. We did have one outside of Pretoria the other day, which is very unusual. Pretoria is the legislative capital. Is it the legislative capital? I think it is the legislative capital of South Africa. And there was a devastating tornado there, and very unusual to have a tornado in that area because there's quite a lot of topography there too. Now, just over the top of my head here, there is water, but there is also, I saw Thomson's gazelle. Where it is? There it is. It's just in the middle of the clearing there, Craig. Can you see it there? Little Tommy coming towards us. Now, Sinak, you want to know if cheetahs sometimes hunt these gazelle? Absolutely they do. These gazelle are the favourite prey of the cheetah. The only reason we haven't seen more of them biting the dust of the claws and teeth of the cheetah is that we've spent most of our time cheetah-wise with those 5 musketeers and Scott, and they tend to specialise in much larger prey because they're a group of them. But for a single cheetah, that is the kind of, staple diet, if you like. They will obviously eat smaller things like scrub hares, which Scott managed to catch Malika doing today. But that's the kind of thing that they want, a Thomson's gazelle. But a Thomson's gazelle, although it is relatively easy to kill once you've caught it, catching it is an entirely another matter. They are unbelievably fast and very wily, and it's not easy for a cheetah to catch one. And I think they probably catch, for every 10 that they chase, they probably catch 2. So the Thomson's gazelle does not have a bad record when it comes to escaping. Vanessa, you want to know if I ever feel bad for the prey during a hunt. Vanessa, I feel bad for the prey almost universally. I didn't used to. I used to be very excited by the fact or the idea of watching a hunt alive, and I thought, wow, this is going to be amazing. But I've really come to the point where, while not quite resenting the predators, I certainly root for the prey quite often, because it's difficult to watch something have the life snuffed out of it, especially if you attach yourself sort of emotionally to the creatures out here, and it's very difficult not to do that. I don't resent the predators truly, but I often hope that the prey will get away. And certainly when we watch the river crossings, I have very little sympathy for the crocodiles. They eat very nicely. They don't need to catch animals, and to watch an animal drowned is a very painful thing indeed. And that's not to say that the crocodiles or any of the predators here are bad or evil or wanton in their killing of creatures, but it is difficult to watch something have the life snuffed out of it once you've attached yourself emotionally to it. All right, let's have one last look at these waterbuck as the light starts to fade on them. The rain is coming towards us, and then I think we'll press on. And what I'm going to do is do a loop back towards those lions for a few reasons. One of the reasons being that I quite want to be close to home if the storm hits us, and the other is that if the rain does start, or if it starts to get dark enough, I think that those lions might get on the hunt with that herd of zebra and giraffe in the clearings there, which would be, you know, a bit of a variety for our hunting. So that'll be quite nice. So we'll just gently pack up here and then start to move back around towards that area. Okay, good, excellent, well done. Let's go. This area, as far as I know, is called the Hippo Pools. No, it's not Hippo Pools, sorry, it's called the... oh, I've forgotten it now. Oh, let's give Judy H a challenge. She did tell me what my white flowers were the other day. There we have got something that I believe must belong to the Kalenko or Crassulaceae. There we go. There you go, Judy H. Your daily floral challenge. And that's not because I'd like to challenge Judy H so much as because I like Judy H to tell me what I'm seeing. She's so very good at it. Nice. So a little succulent, looks like a Kalenko of some sort, or a crassula. And we'll see if we come right with that. Now apparently Byron was looking for signs of spring on bushwalk this morning. I'm not sure that this is a sign of spring, given that this area is not particularly seasonal. I'm just going to hop out of the car here very briefly, because there's something else quite pretty here. I've just got to detach myself, otherwise I'll create a problem. This looks like it looks to me, can you see these white flowers, Craig, or they're in the way? Here? They look like and they smell like one of the Coparis species, one of the capers, one of the caper bushes, and I think that's what that is. And they've got a very nice subtle sweet smell, which of course is one of the smells of spring that we get in South Africa, and with any luck we will see some more flowers here. But what I was saying was that although, I mean, of course this place does change remarkably during the course of the year, because we're on the equator, that a quite sudden change that you get in South Africa, where it goes from cold to hot almost in a day, and suddenly things start to bloom, and there's just a real amazing change of temperature season-wise. We don't get that here, I don't think, and that's simply because we are so much closer to the equator, and so the variation of the sun is that much less. But yes, in theory we should be going towards the drier summer months, and there will be rains, the short rains apparently in November. Well, the long rains might just bleed straight into the short rains. Where am I going? I didn't want to go this way. Hang on, sorry. You just turn aroundy. Okay. Taylor apparently is driving towards some dark clouds. She's very afraid of them. No, she's not. She's not afraid of anything. Let's go and find out how she feels about the rain.
I don't like lightning so much, but James, it's very kind of you to say that I'm not afraid of anything, but I'm a big sissy. I don't like sharks, petrified of sharks. Wouldn't cross the Mara River by canoe or swimming. Doesn't matter how much money someone wanted to pay me. Crocodiles petrify me as well. What else am I scared of, David? Getting lost out at sea. That's another one that I'm also absolutely petrified. So yes, so we're going to avoid the rain, and it doesn't look like there's much lightning though, it actually just looks like rain. The other night though, when we were sitting with some lions, we had spectacular lightning, but it was far away from us, so I didn't mind it too much. But I don't normally like it. But I think I've told you this a number of times. Now, we're racing because I'm worried that this cloud of rain is going to move across the river and come towards us. And I want to get to the jackal den before that happens. I also want to get to the jackal den before sunset. Because, well, as you know, they're active fairly most of the time, but they should be quite active in that crepuscular period. I want to try and get there. I'm navigating again with my good old mobile device. We are 4.5 kilometers away. We're not far. TC Watcher, you said with all the rain, would it create mud and slow the predators down? I think most certainly it would, especially in some of these areas where it's this cotton soil. It's clay, and you would just sink in it. Obviously, a lion or a leopard or a hyena, a cheetah, jackal, they're not as heavy as a car, so they'd probably be able to move on the grass a little bit easier, but they definitely would be doing a bit of slip and sliding. Maybe it even works in their favor if they're chasing prey. Prey could slip, and one false move, if you fall to the ground and you've got a lion or you've got a cheetah or a hyena on your tail, that's a grave mistake. It will literally send you to your grave. So I suppose it could work for either or, but it'll be interesting to watch as the rainy season approaches. We should be expecting some decent rains coming up now in November. Maybe we're going to get early rain. Obviously, we've had a couple of showers. I was stuck with Craig in a torrential downpour. It poured for about an hour and a half, and then it was quite a heavy drizzle for another 2 hours after that. We couldn't go anywhere. So there definitely has been some rain already. Like I said, and I've showed you a couple of these little drainage lines that have already filled up with water. So I'm not sure how many mils we've got, but we've had so far since I've been here. I reckon maybe about 10 mils at least in the last week since I've been here, with all the downpours that we've had. Maybe I'm not even being generous enough. Perhaps even a little bit more. I'm just going to keep checking my GPS every now and then. I know, I sort of have an idea where it is, but I don't want to miss the turn off and go round and round in circles. So I believe a lot of you have been asking about Maurice. What have I done? This elephant. Here's Maurice. Hello, Maurice. Should I smile with Maurice, David? Okay, we'll drive. This is risky. Give him a kiss. I love Maurice. He's fantastic. The Asian elephant in Africa. And it must be a male. It's not often Asian elephants have tusks. So I think he's quite a large fella as well. Well, a pygmy Asian elephant with tusks. But he's fantastic. He's very dirty, so I wonder if I can put him in the wash. He's covered in dust now and all sorts of other things. Maurice, but you're an elephant, so you like to be covered in dust. Maybe we'll just leave him and see how dirty he gets. Maybe we won't be able to recognize him. His tusks will probably turn brown at this rate. But we'll leave him. I also don't know how an elephant would feel being put into a washing machine and going around and round and round. They can only hold their breath for so long, you know. So it'll have to be a quick cycle. Of course, I'm talking absolute nonsense. I know Maurice is not real. Maurice, sorry. I'm not even saying his name correctly anymore. There's a buffalo. Never, I'm not doing that. Bree, you said a ventriloquist act. No, I don't know. Maybe later. No, David, don't encourage it. There's a buffalo cow just resting on her own. That's a bit dangerous. I'm not going to stay for too long. We'll just have a very quick look at her. She's resting. Oh, sorry, that big shake was me switching the car off. And I thought I could hear rain. It's not rain, it's the river. Silly me. But you can see the wind is starting to pick up. There's definitely a chill in the air now. It's turning. I just hope it doesn't turn this way. Is that why you're sitting down, girl? You're keeping your spot nice and dry? Chewing away. Salivating quite a bit too. But let's carry on. Let's not waste too much time. Not that sitting with a buffalo is wasting time. That's not what I'm saying. But I would like to get to these jackals. Because I think, imagine them in the golden light. That could be really spectacular.